Hey YouTube, Free California here, and today I'm going to take you through the process of using the Duracoat Aerosol to Duracoat a rifle of mine. I hope you guys will learn something from the video and enjoy watching. So let's go ahead and get into it.
So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 400 and 600 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to go ahead and sand off all the remaining finish on the firearm to prep it for the Duracoat. They said there's 3 ways you can do it. You can use 400 to 600 grit sandpaper, which is the second best way. You can sandblast it, which is the first best way. And then you can also just use the Brillo pad along with the True Strip. And so I decided to go with the sandpaper method. And then after that, I'll go over it with the Brillo pad with the True Strip to fully clean and degrease it before I paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get it roughed up, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Also, just to note, this scope is not the scope that's going to be on here. This scope got a little dinged up, if you see right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and replace this scope. I have a Vortex Diamondback HP 4 to 16 by 42 on the way. So that's going to replace this. Also, just a side note, here's the crown that they put on my barrel at Full Metal Jacket Firearms after they cut down about 6 inches. So it's now a 22-inch barrel. And then if we come up here to the top, you can see where the rear sight used to be. It has been taken off and then grinded down so that it's perfectly flush and smooth and goes with the contour of the barrel. It's really nice.
Okay, so here's what the Mosin looks like after one day, about 6 hours of sanding. It's almost done. I just got a little bit of finishing sanding that I need to do for it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out here again, and when I come back, this will be all sanded up, and then we'll be ready to prep for painting. And just real quick, this is what I'm using here to do my sanding with. I've used a couple other things like a Scotch pad and other stuff to just try and rough it up. And I'm actually going a lot further than you would really need to for painting or Duracoating anything. I'm actually pretty much refinishing the metal to make it actually smooth instead of having the really rough machining marks of an original Mosin. And on the barrel, I don't know how well it comes across in the video, but the Mosin barrel has the little lines going like that from the machining, and so I've actually sanded off all of it, so it's actually a totally smooth barrel now. So it should look really good once I get it painted. So anyways, alright, so we'll come back and it'll be ready for final prepping before painting. So okay, so now that I've got everything sanded down to a rough finish for it, basically for the paint to stick to better, and like I said before, a little bit smoother than you'd actually need to do, but it's just something I wanted to do. So anyways, now I have my 2-part aerosol finishing kit. So this comes here with, this is the Duracoat's Tactical Black aerosol spray, and then this is their True Strip that they have, and this is really just good at cleaning and degreasing, getting the whatever firearm, knife, or whatever you're going to paint ready for actual painting. And then it comes with a little like Brillo pad type deal here, which you'll use to scrub everything down until the actual grease and dirt is scrubbed off completely. So we're going to go ahead and start the cleaning process here. And so I'll use this here on camera for you guys, and then I'll do the rest of the parts off camera, and then so after this it'll be on to painting, or at least phase one of painting. Okay, so I just spray it and scrub it.
And then it's just kind of a continuous thing. And it's just going to get all the junk out of there, so that way your paint has nice clean surface to adhere to. So it's going to take me a little bit to get used to this mount I use for the camera. It's a brand new mount I just built over the bench, so if things are out of focus a little bit, then sorry about that. But you can see this stuff is getting the gunk out. See it kind of get dirty, and then give it a little spray, and then it just kind of washes it right off. So it's nice that you can buy the 2-in-1 kit, so it has everything that you need. This is when I was in the first part of the video, when I was talking about the 3 different ways to prepare whatever you're working on for painting. This is the phase 1, or the least efficient way, but probably the easiest way is to just use a Brillo pad, scrub it using the True Strip, and then the second most effective way is to use sandpaper, 400 to 600 grit sandpaper, and then that's what I did, and now I'm just at the phase where I'm degreasing the things that I've already sanded down. And then the best way that they say to use is to actually use a sandblaster, but I don't have a sandblaster, not yet, so this is the route I decided to go. So anyways, I think you get a good enough idea of kind of what's going on here, just to scrub and spray, scrub and spray. So when I come back, I'll have everything hanging up over on the makeshift painting rack that I made, and we'll go ahead and give everything a paint job. Here are all the different things I'm going to Duracoat. Forgive me for the lighting, but unfortunately I only have 2 lights and there's too much backlighting, so it doesn't look that great. But everything's sanded, everything's been cleaned, True Stripped. And I'm going to reposition the camera back here so that I can record the painting process, and then I will get started here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with our can is we're going to shake it for 3 minutes. Okay, now that I've shook the can for 3 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and take off this top, not launch it across the room, and we're going to take this red button, we're going to flip the can over to the bottom side. We're going to place our red button here, and then we're going to go ahead and press. Okay, so that was it. It popped, and so that released the hardener inside of the can. So now, at this point, we're going to go ahead and shake for another 3 minutes. Okay, so now that I've shook the can for 3 minutes after I've released the hardener, it is now good to go and ready to paint for up to 4 weeks after initial popping. So a little bit of PPE that I'm going to use and would recommend you use something close is a little dust mask with a filter to just get some of the fine particles. I'm going to wear safety glasses, and then I'm also going to wear a pair of rubber gloves just to keep the Duracoat off my hands. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera just so it's looking over there, and I'll get started painting. Real quick, just to let you guys know, I do have my garage side door and garage door both opened, and I have a fan going as well to keep the air moving. Alright, let's get painting.
Okay, there's the first coat. It comes out a little bit stickier and thicker than I expected. Not quite as thin as regular spray paint. So it's just gonna take a little bit getting used to, but it seems to be working well so far. And I'm gonna go ahead and use a heat gun to dry it, because you can actually flash it between the coating to go ahead and speed up the process a little bit, because you just want to dry off the solvents before you start using your or spraying your next coat. And you want to do about 3 coats at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the heat gun and get started doing that. Oh, and I just realized I did forget my gloves. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a pair of gloves real quick, so that way at least the rest of the time I'll have it on. Okay, that's round 1. Let's go ahead and do round 2. Alright, now we're ready for 3. Okay, so just so you guys know, I did run out of paint before I was fully done with my 3 coats, but it does look pretty good. And I'm going to say probably the reason that I actually ran out was because I was also trying to do this right here and this right here, which are not actually parts of my rifle. They're for something else, but all the rest was parts for my rifle. So had I not done these 2 pieces there and there, I probably would have had just enough to do a full 3 coats on all the other parts of my rifle. But coverage is pretty good, and especially since we're doing the second portion with the tactical OD green, I think it'll be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let this stuff cure overnight, and we'll do the next part after I have the rifle assembled.
I assembled the rifle, and then I used some sticker paper that I bought and cut out some awesome tiger striping. And I'm going to go ahead and go over with the tactical OD green, and it's going to look pretty sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and set you guys back up on the tripod, and I'm going to start to paint.
Okay, let's go ahead and do our second coat. Seem to be having some sort of strange blockages in our nozzle. This is the second time this has happened. Here we go. And it's back open. So I think it's just a little bit of goop gets built up. And that's what's causing it. Same thing happened again. Okay, the nozzle's completely seized up here. Not so good. I'm just going to go ahead and try to use the white nozzle now. See if that'll solve our issue here. Okay, so for some reason, okay, now it's working again. I don't know. Something inside, I think, is locking up and not allowing stuff to flow out, or the paint flow out. So let's go ahead and continue. You can also use a hairdryer for this step if you don't have a heat gun. Round 3 here. Okay, use the heat gun for the final time to flash off all the solvents, and then we're going to let her dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll take a closer look and see what the final product looks like. Okay, so here is the final product of my Duracoat experience here, and I think it turned out super awesome. It looks really good, and I'm gonna let it cure for the full 30 days before I try and take it out, because I don't want to scrape up all the paint right off the bat because I couldn't wait. So I would let it cure for the full time. So I just want to show you guys this. Here's a piece of paper with a picture I printed out off the internet of tiger striping, and I was able to use this as a general rough template for some of the shapes. Some of the shapes on here are custom ones that I made on my own. So I think I'm going to do a video to show you guys how I made them, because I actually made these into stickers and peeled them on there where you guys saw earlier all the white that was on the gun. So that worked out really well. I don't know if you'll be able to see in the video, but there's still a little bit of sticker residue. And so after I let it cure for its full 30 days, then I'll clean it up and stuff. I just obviously don't want to mess up the paint job quite yet. So I'd like to thank Duracoat for letting me test out their product. So one thing is that it's definitely a little bit different than spray painting. The way the actual texture and consistency that it comes out in is a little bit thicker, I would say. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I did have a little bit of trouble where you saw me. I pressed in the top of the cap and nothing was coming out. But I found if we just flipped it upside down and then flipped it back over, it worked just fine. So something inside was just getting caught in the tube, I suppose. But the True Strip works really good. It just knocks the stuff off quickly, all the oils and solvents and everything, and the grease. So I definitely recommend this. It's a lot easier than even acetone, just because it sprays right on, and so it's convenient to use. But the two colors here is the Tactical OD Green and Tactical Black, and those colors are a lot flatter, so they're not going to have as much sheen, so you're not going to see them from as far away, I guess, or have as much glare from the sun. But a couple of things I did tape off was right here, which is the scope power, and then here my parallax adjustment, and then I also didn't paint here on my eye adjustment here. But overall, like I said, I'm super pleased with it. It came out looking quite nicely, and you know, it's a bit of work to do this process, but I totally think it's worth it. You know, anybody could do it. I'm not a professional painter by any means. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out Duracoat. In the future, I'd really like to get a little hobby painter kit, the airbrushing kit, and then buy some of their Duracoat for that and use that. It looks like you have a lot more control, where this is a little bit heavier spray. So I'd like to try that out in the future, but for being just a spray can that you can just shake up and use, I mean, this is what you get when you use it right and take the time to do it right. And so I mean, it can be a really awesome product. So I definitely would say you could use it. I would use it again for sure. I'd say you could probably get, really, for me at least, one can will do a full featured firearm like this. I wouldn't try and do more stuff. As you saw before, I was running out of my black when I was trying to do a couple extra things. So just something to keep in mind. But at this point, totally recommend it. Give them check out at Lauer Weaponry, Lauer Custom Weaponry. So there's their the symbol on the hat that they sent me, which is pretty cool. So yeah, lauerweaponry.com. It says here on the bill, and I'll put a link down in the bottom. But really nice guys, really good product, and at this point I'd like to invite you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them below and I'll kind of get back to you as soon as I can. And you guys can check me out on Facebook and on Google+, and those links are down below as well. So at this point I'd like to say, God bless America and long live the Constitution. Thanks for watching.